Feels a bit decadent, Judith. That's what the problem is.
Yes, well, nothing more decadent than the trotters being done first thing on a Monday morning.
With nail art.
Yeah, I'm glossing over the nail art.
Are you?
Yeah.
You're glossing.
Yeah, it's a bit Kardashian for me. I'm so sorry.
Oh, I'd like nothing better than to be more Kardashian.
I know you would. Scary, isn't it?
Welcome to Own It, Your Business in Your Life, with Nicola Cairncross and Judith Morgan. In this podcast, we're going to cover everything you need to embrace to become a successful entrepreneur, marketing, money, and much, much more. How to create a business doing just what you love. How to own it, your business and your life. This one will be fast, funny, feisty, and very lively. So sit back and enjoy the show. Morning.
Hola.
Hola indeed, or even Calimera.
What a nice picture on your screensaver.
I know. Momentum has done us proud this morning with a picture of the Taj Mahal, and it's all beautiful, muted sepia colours, so it's very pleasing on the eye.
Indeed, sepia was the very word I was going to use. And you don't normally see it from that angle, do you?
No, from the river. No, it's very good.
No.
If anyone's using Momentum, go and look. You can look forward to that one. It's a nice one. I find the ones that are all nice and muted. It's very what's the word? Keeps me calm and peaceful.
I'm also reading the little quote. I'm trying to get my head around it. There is no duty we so much underrate as the duty of being happy. By being happy, we sow anonymous benefits upon the world. And that's rather nice too.
Yeah, absolutely. Good. We're recommending Momentum as a add-on for your Chrome.
It's a Chrome extension, isn't it? Yeah.
Very much so. What's your week been like then?
Yeah, it's been great, actually.
Go on then.
I've got two pieces of news here. Obviously, the big news of the week is that my biro rang out, but you probably saw that on Facebook, didn't you?
I did.
Yes.
Necessitating a trip to Amazon.
Oh, certainly not. No, I had them in stock already, of course. You know, I've never run out of anything, Nicola.
It's true.
You always buy a pack of 10. I don't know where I am in the pack of 10, to be honest, but I will do an audit on that. Toot sweet. But the serious big news of the week is that I spent Monday and Tuesday, and today is Thursday, doing accounts for a friend of mine who needed it, and she's been very kind to me. So I put my shoulder to the wheel on Sage, and it's slightly more than 10 years since I gave up doing accounts for a living. The last day I ever did accounts for a living was the 28th of February 2007.
Wow.
And memorable, because obviously I'd done it all my life until that point. But there was a certain, the reason why I remember the date so well, apart from it being the 28th of February, which is always quite a memorable date anyway, but is because there was a determination in me never to do it again commercially. And indeed, I haven't done it commercially this time. I've just done it as a favour for a friend, returning favours, multiple really. And the reason why this is remarkable is that, as you know, I'm a big fan of Sage. And since then, I have done the accounts for the Money Gym, for the cleaning bills, for my own business on Sage, but I've never done it in the way that I did it this week. And the reason for that is that all three of those businesses, we do cash accounting, which is, you know, money in, money out. But the important thing here to do was to have a debtor's ledger so I could work out how much money she was owed, and that sort of proper double entry. And I haven't done that for a decade, and I couldn't remember how to do it. And the reason I love Sage is because it's a bit like driving a car or riding a bike. It's like you just know how to do it. It's on the end of my fingers. I don't have to think, oh, but I did have to think of this, because I couldn't actually remember what the keystrokes were to make the things happen, if you know what I mean. I picked it up again pretty quickly, but I'm just reporting this because I had a thoroughly lovely time.
Thoroughly lovely time.
Yeah, I did. I had a thoroughly lovely time being an accountant for 2 days. Because if you don't with one drawback on my desk now, because I haven't yet found a lever arch file or some dividers and a hole punch because I'm so digital, I've got a pile of invoices and a pile of trial balances and things that I haven't filed yet. But with that one exception of how paperwork intense it can be, a bit like you said last week, in order to do a bank rec, you said you had to print things out. So I did have to get a printout of all of the invoices and all of the bank statements and blah, blah, blah. And I haven't filed them yet. But with that one exception, I had a thoroughly lovely time.
Well, I'm looking forward to my call with Bean Ninjas on Friday morning. We've found a mutually agreeable time, which I can't remember. I think it's about 8 o'clock on my time. God knows what time it is there. And yeah, so I'm looking forward to getting that set up as well.
Yeah.
Yes. So my week has been, it's been quite quiet, but lots of lovely things happening in it. Write Club. I hosted Write Club here yesterday.
Oh.
And I've written my short story for the Dragonfly Tea competition, which is up to 3,000 words. You have to be an amateur writer, which means you can't have been paid a fee for your writing. So, for example, you can't be a journalist, or you can't have had a royalty advance, i.e. being published author. So as a self-published author, I'm allowed to enter. And as someone who's never been paid a bean up front for their writing, I'm still allowed to enter. So the girls critiqued it, and it's a better story for it. You know, critiquing is positive. It's not a negative thing. It's giving you ideas, giving you feedback about what they liked, what they didn't like, what was confusing, how you could make a sentence better or a paragraph better. It's great fun, really. And that was really nice. And then
before you go on, I didn't realise that Write Club is a movable feast. Its venue moves around from home to home of the members, does it?
It does. Or we occasionally go up to Bar 360, which has got the best view of in the town, because that's quite quiet, sort of lunched. Well, even now when the beach, honestly, the second beach here, I hadn't seen it. I usually go to the main beach. The second beach is gorgeous, and it was completely empty in the winter when we went to fly my drone. And I had a look at it this week because my Greek lessons ladies place overlooked it. Wall-to-wall sunbeds, Judith. God knows how you're supposed to fight your way through those to get to the sea. But I won't be going down on that beach because I had heard it was like that, but they've really gone mad this year for some.
Now, can you tell us about the Greek lessons? Because the first mention of that was on Facebook, and that's the first mention you've made of it on the podcast. So tell us about your Greek lessons.
Well, I'm going to tell you about that in the Who or What's Impressed section.
Oh, okay, all right, okay, good. I'll possess my soul in patience until we get there.
Absolutely, yeah. So the other thing that's been happening is pretty much every day I've been either going down to the beach around lunchtime, finishing my work and going for a swim, or even when I've been finishing later, so after Write Club I had a bit to do, and then I didn't really finish till 5:30, I just thought, I'm just going to go down the beach. So I did. I just popped my stuff in, and you've got if you go down at 6 o'clock, you've still got a good 2 hours of warmth in the sun. And this week's been not as hot as last week, but it's been very pleasant indeed. And I just thought, how lucky am I that I can sling a cosy on and saunter down the hill and have a lovely couple of swims, and then just go and freshen up, because they've got freshwater showers on the beach, which makes a huge difference. You can get all the salt off, and then you can just go and freshen up in the and change.
Even if you do end up putting your top on inside out.
Well, that was very funny. I sat there and I thought, this looks a bit odd as I looked out. And I thought, no, it's a new top, you see, so I'm not very familiar with it, the outside and the inside. But then I thought, no, there is a label. See, a label.
Can I just say as well, an observation is that when I said to you it was only about 15 months ago, I really think we need to step up this and your life half of the podcast. And you were resistant and fearful and got knickers in quite a knot about it. But this week, you, and I've never seen depravity like it, began the working week on Monday morning with a visit to the beautician.
I did. I got nail art done to me.
I mean, talk about adapt to, new things quickly, Nicola.
I know. I haven't even mentioned that, have I?
No.
A new friend of mine, Heather, who I know from Write Club, she said to me, I'm going to the beauty salon. And I said, I've always wanted to go there, but it's a bit daunting to go on your own. And she said, no, they're very good. They're very nice. Anastasia and Martina. So I went, and she had her nails done. I had a pedicure and a wax of various parts. And they were extremely efficient. But the funny thing was they talk at literally top volume in Greek all the way through it. So Heather and I are talking in English. And then a mate of ours came in as well. And he was having a pedicure as well. So he was sitting up at the, they've got these sort of throne things.
Yeah.
It was a highly enjoyable experience. And then we walked out, and Heather's husband was there waiting for us. And we said, we're going to go for lunch at Melissa's. And he said, no. He said, we've been invited to lunch at Melissa's. They're doing an Indonesian feast.
Oh, yes, I saw the pictures.
Oh, my God, the food, Judith, was just amazing. And they wouldn't let us pay a penny. So occasionally they get guest chefs in. And if you're around, then they just invite, and you're a customer, obviously, then they just invite you for lunch. It was just the most enjoyable thing. And we had a lovely time. And I staggered back up at the road about 4:30, feeling well stuffed and very happy with life.
So 2 observations on the beauty salon story. A man having a pedicure, that's very modern, isn't it? I mean, I know they do it, obviously, but I'm just saying. Yeah, in Greece, that's very modern. And secondly, the waxing of various parts, TMI, darling, too much information.
No, it wasn't any of those parts. It was just...
Thank heavens. No, don't go there. No, stop.
The bits you can see on the beach.
Stop.
Anyway, I won't be frightening the children quite so much nowadays.
Thank heavens.
It's been a thoroughly nice week, but my main concern at the moment, you'll laugh at this, is I'm trying to work out, which is one of the reasons I need to get my accounts done, is whether it's more economic to eat out every night or eat in sometimes, because every time I go to the supermarket, I spend €100, and every time I go to the taverna for dinner, it's €15. So I'm starting to think it might be a good idea to go out every night.
Well, I mean, I did ask this question quite early on, actually, once you got there. Do you both go out every night?
Yeah.
15 times 7 is 105. It's approximately the same. But when you go to the supermarket and spend €100, presumably you buy other things like water and toilet paper or something, I don't know.
Yeah. And obviously you need something for breakfast, although I don't often eat breakfast, I must say. It's more a late lunch. A late breakfast, early lunch. But I'm starting to wonder if it might not be, especially while the weather's so nice and it's so lovely. I mean, I'll be doing plenty of cooking in when the winter comes, I'm sure, but at the moment, you just want to go down the beach, and going down the beach means walking down the hill, and you're not going to walk back again till it's cooled down a bit, which means you have to have your dinner down there, and it's so much fun.
Well, I can't see the problem here.
No, it feels a bit decadent, Judith. That's what the problem is.
Yes, well, nothing more decadent than the trotters being done first thing on a Monday morning.
With nail art.
Yeah, I'm glossing over the nail art.
Are you?
Yeah.
You're glossing.
Yeah, it's a bit Kardashian for me. I'm so sorry.
Oh, I'd like nothing better than to be more Kardashian.
I know you would. Scary, isn't
it? Funny. What's filled your fire this week then?
Oh, well, I'm having a lot of fun. I've got a bigger active pipeline than I've ever had in terms of the people that I'm talking to and processing through to joining. Pay What You Want is really catching on, and I'm delighted about that because it just opens up, strangers in the diary, basically, who may or may not become relationship-ease, as a former boyfriend of mine used to call them. And search engine optimization seems to be really working in. People keep saying, I did a few searches online, and the man I spoke to yesterday, a man who runs a fitness studio, said that he'd looked for a business coach, and he thought that he'd also put the word in spiritual there. And when I spoke to him, he wasn't in the least bit woo-woo at all. He was a man with 3 children who didn't want to work quite so hard in a part of London that I know very well. He could only squeeze in half an hour to speak to me between all of his childcare duties, which I thought was refreshing because that's normally a conversation I have with a woman. There's another man in there next week, which is quite rare to have so many men for me these days. I used to have more men in the beginning, and he runs seems to run a bookkeepers association, and he spells his first name like a woman. So thank God he pointed out to me in advance that he was a man. Otherwise, I would have been surprised. There's a woman photographer this afternoon, a retail consultant next Tuesday. There are all these strangers in my diary, and for me, this denotes a turnaround in marketing conditions. More people seem to be ready to work with a coach, seem to be searching, seem to be finding. I haven't changed anything in my marketing at all, but more people are finding me. So,
well, I think that's amazing and brilliant because, it's not like you've been, I think it's very encouraging for anyone else listening because you don't optimize your posts for SEO. You're actually not blogging much at the moment at all, apart from your weekly thing. And the very fact that you're being found by the search engine.
Well, I do optimize my posts for SEO using Yoast, and I have a consultant that optimizes my website, and I tag her every time I mention this in the podcast group because she's done such a good job. But that job that she's done isn't new. She's been doing it for the last 4 or 5 years. But so this is why I think it's about market conditions, not about my marketing working better.
Well, I think I need to talk to her because I'm adding new stuff to my blog every two or 3 days, and it's really not making any difference at all. In fact, looking over my last year's traffic, I can see that it's slightly down. So.
Well, I don't think this is about traffic. That's my point. I think it's about market conditions. It's about more people being prepared to spend money now than they have been with a business coach, in my experience, for the past several years.
Yeah, and I do remember when I saw you mention that on somewhere that your pay what you want thing was really gaining ground. I went and had a quick look at your website, and it is very clear at the moment. It's very concise. It's obvious what to do next. It's the best iteration of your website I've seen, I think.
I haven't really changed anything very recently, but I think the thing is that this is the point, isn't it? All ideas take a while to catch on. And this man yesterday, the fitness studio bloke who had the half an hour between the children, said, so I know that next time I need to pay for one. Is that right? Yeah. So he knew how to do it. So he'd read the website and knew what to do next time.
Unlike the people last week who hadn't read the website.
No, that's right. No, quite. So maybe that's a bloke thing. Who knows? I don't know.
Yeah, nice. And the fact they're sort of, real business owners as well.
Well, yes, interest, and a variety. I always like the new ones. I love the old ones as well. I never want to think the old ones to think, you're boring, because they're not boring. They're constantly renewing in their stuff they bring to me. But when you see in your diary a couple of strangers, so have I got 2 this afternoon? No, I've got a relatively new pay-as-you-want woman this afternoon, and then a potential new one afterwards that's a referral, actually. So referrals are going just as well too at the moment, but being found, I think this is about demand. I think people are ready to pay, and I don't think they have been in the recent few years.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, and like you say, it's becoming more accepted, isn't it? I suppose Gary Vee's doing his bit for that. The fact that people are getting more aware that entrepreneurship is. People need help with it, I think it's about money, though. I think it's about money. I think the last few years have been difficult financially, and they haven't chosen to make that investment in that time. Oh, okay.
And that's what I think is changing now.
Yeah. Well, nothing really had fueled my fire until this morning because I've been having such a laid-back week. But I've been playing with the idea of, because I've been watching what Neil does since I went to Australia. I've been watching what Neil's doing with his Aussie online entrepreneurs. And basically, we had a discussion this week where he said, I've come up with 2 business ideas, Nicola, and I talked him through Tash, his wife, and I just thought, no, I can't be asked. And basically what he's got going for him at the moment is living in Lisbon with his wife and 2 kids. They're having a lovely time, and he's got his Aussie online entrepreneurs, and it's such a simple business model. And I was thinking about this because there's been an interesting thing this week. I keep meeting people out here who say, they find out what I do, and then they say, oh, I want, can we have a coffee? I really want to know more. And I think, no. Because, so what I do is I point them in the direction of my Inner Circle membership club, which is now at the moment full of Aussie online entrepreneurs. And I got some interesting feedback from one girl who is a real newbie. She's actually she knows about blogging. She's got a specialty. She's got a passion. And I said, well, that's, you could really start from there. And so I gave her access to my Inner Circle because I wanted to stop in its tracks this thing about people wanting one-to-one coaching over a coffee or a dinner or whatever. So I said, the best place I can help you is within my membership site. So I gave her access, and she came back to me with some interesting feedback, which was, oh, they're all really high-flying business people in there. I feel like I can't ask any questions. So I was thinking, oh, my God, this is really not good. I've gone down the thing of helping authors, experts, and that end of the market, which has obviously worked because there's lots of people in there who've actually got businesses. But in the meantime, all the people I meet that are just getting started find it an intimidating place now. So I'm sort of... And I've also got quite a lot of complicated tech going on, which I'm not sure I need. So looking at Neil's model for his Aussie online entrepreneurs, basically, he's got a page on Facebook. He runs ads to an opt-in, and then after that you get an email a day till you buy or die. And I was just thinking, should I be simplifying everything and perhaps even looking at rebranding my inner circle to something more inclusive. Because the other feedback this girl gave me was, the inner circle, it sounds a bit elite. And I just don't know if I'm just being swayed by one bit of feedback or not, or whether I should.
I think you are. And let me observe, you can't help everybody, Nicola.
No. But there's an awful lot of people out there who want help, who are not experts, authors, and blah, blah, blah.
I had a conversation with a client who I think listens to this podcast, and we've been working together for 2 years, and she's got 3 packages. And she said, but I meet all of these people when I go out and about who don't want to fit into any of those packages. I said, look, do you feel your packages are right? Because I hope you're going to say yes, because we were working on those for 2 years. And she said, yes, I do feel they're right. Why do you feel you've got to help these other people that are not prepared to make that investment or fit into your well-designed system? Oh, because I'm such a nice girl, I want to help everybody. And I actually think I told her about something you taught me eons ago, which is the ones you can't help, you have to have you, Nicola, and I'll explain why in a minute, have to have something to point them at. So that they'll go away from being a problem in your life in a way. And exactly. in those days, I think you used to give them a freebie or put them on the Financial 101 or something like that. But actually all you and my client need to be able to do to the people you can't help is either point them at something that somebody else has created where you're an affiliate that's perfect for newbies. Don't change tack now. We've got decent people in your inner circle. And you've worked hard at this thing about deciding on experts and whatever it was. Just because you met one little person who felt intimidated by that offering, she's not right for that offering. She's one of those ones my client was trying to help. You have to send them away.
Yes, but the problem is then that she's going to spend every time we meet, we accidentally...
Well, you see, here's the problem, isn't it? Here's the problem. It's not actually anything to do with your business, the problem.
It's boundaries again, isn't it?
Yes. What I would do, because you love your topic and I love my topic, is if I lived in Stupor, is this a tourist or a resident?
No, it's a new resident.
Okay, so I would probably run an infrequent pick my brains evening.
Oh, okay.
Once a month. Just for the crack. Don't do it if you don't want to, but I would. And anybody else who was prepared to buy me dinner, I'd let them buy me dinner and talk about my specialist subject, because you love it.
The problem is, you see, Judith, it's exhausting emotionally.
Then don't do it, Nicola. Yeah. Don't do it. Say, so sorry, I can't help you, but I know somebody who can. And give them your affiliate link to something that doesn't feel like that felt to newbies.
Yeah, yeah.
You can't help everybody. I can't help everybody. We shouldn't try.
Mm-hmm. No, you're right. You're right. It's just
because basically the newbies can't afford you in the way you want to be treated.
No, and they don't seem willing to just join the inner circle and pitch up and ask questions.
Well, they want then that's their problem. Stop trying to fix them. Yeah. They can't have it. Well, you can if you like the look of them and you'd be happy to spend a lunch or an afternoon with them, then let them buy you dinner.
Yeah.
And if that's exhausting because they're strangers or any other, or you don't want to do it, you don't have to do it. But I remember you saying to me about 12 years ago, it's useful on your website to have a place to send people when you don't want to have any dealings with them, basically.
Yes. Where they, that they'll get some help, and whether they act, and that's a test in a way, isn't it? Because if they don't take the help that's offered and run with
yes.
They're not the right kind of client, are they? You're right, of course. So
I don't think we can help all of the people all of the time. And, if you switched your business model to accommodate that one person, then another stranger comes along and wants something else. But you can't just be endlessly bendy elastic, can you?
No, I know. It was a combination of her feedback, watching what Niels does, and the desire to...
Well, I think streamlining the model, so you have a Facebook page, an ad, an opt-in, and an email every day until you buy or die is lovely. But, but actually, you can't change the thing that's behind it all the time.
Yes, because it's a lot of work to change.
Yeah, I know, and that's the mistake we made in the past. We've got to consolidate.
Oh well, that's the worst that's happened with this is a domain name has been purchased, which I can now abandon.
Well, unless it works for adapting your current thing to the Neil model.
Yeah, possibly. It says more about what it does on the tin than what I've currently got.
Okay.
But then, because it was available, the domain name, I snaffled it up, obviously. But then I found out subsequently that someone else has got exactly the same name on a Facebook group. So I'm not sure if I should proceed or not.
Oh, okay.
But one wonders why they didn't buy the domain name. That's always the first step, surely, in any business.
But your existing thing, would work with if your business model was adapted to match Neil's, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I'm not actually going to change the back end at all. I'm just thinking of changing the branding.
Yeah,
because the branding at the moment, I think, is a little bit obscure. Whereas I think the new name I bought says what it does on the tin better.
Will you PM it to me? Presumably you don't want to say it on the.
Absolutely.
Yes, I'd love to know what that is, and compare it and the comparison, so I can see whether I agree with you or not.
Okay.
Right.
Would you like to showcase your business, product or service to highly engaged solopreneurs and business owners every week? We can offer a 30-second mid-roll slot and sponsorship branding on our website and in our private Facebook group. Just contact Nicola at nicolacairncross.com for more details. So we've got a client challenge of the week that you've brought to the table. So you're going to kick off with reading it out, aren't you?
Well, somebody put it on our Facebook page, and it's from a lady. I don't yet actually have her permission to use her name or her URL, but I'm going to give you both because I'm seeking to get that permission. And anyway, she put it on our Facebook page.
She must be
a public place. Yes, her name is Karen Wilmot. She lives in Oman, and she runs a website called thevirtualmidwife.com. She gives advice and information over the web and her lovely website to people having babies as expats all over the world. And she is a midwife of some 20 years experience. She's a lovely woman. She also does midwifery type classes in the Middle East, all over the Middle East, actually. Wonderful woman. So her question is, I am thinking of having a mobile app developed to add to my website and offerings. It's more of an info app, but as a tool, but also a tool, as it is specifically for breathing techniques in labour and would guide the practice of these in pregnancy. The cost is significant but not prohibitive. However, I'm wondering if it's worthwhile, considering that I could recover the cost by selling it on iTunes Store, and also by making my other packages more inviting, (value add?). Then her secondary question is, would also be keen to hear how much I should expect to pay the average cost. And obviously I know you've made your own app, so and I know nothing about how to answer this question myself. Over to you.
Oh, great. Okay, so I'm very happy to share that my app cost about £2,500.
Was it pounds, Nicola, or dollars?
Pounds.
Yeah.
Because it was in Aussie dollars and that's what it converted to.
Okay.
And the reason it was so reasonable was because I used a firm that takes existing app software, because a lot of it's open source, which means anyone can use it. And a lot of apps are already out there in the world, and that's what app developers do. They take the open source software and they find one that fits your requirements, and then they code on top of it. So they customize the existing software to suit your needs. And the person I worked with was one of the first people to admit that was happening and adjust their prices accordingly, because people do charge ridiculous amounts of money for apps. You can actually also learn to code your own app nowadays. There's plenty of courses online to learn how to do that. So,
sorry, could I just come in here? Karen, please don't try and learn how to code your own app.
No, I wasn't suggesting that for Karen. No. In fact, I've spoken to Karen in the past as well.
Yeah, she's a busy woman. She's got a life. I don't think she's going to be an ideal coder.
But okay, so here's the thing. Your app doesn't sell itself. It's a bit like a book, Judith. You've got to
Nothing sells itself, does it, Nicola? Nothing.
So the idea of making it a paid app is not a good one, because it's going to make it even harder to get people to download it. But what you might want to think about doing is having a free level and a paid level. So, but not yet. I would definitely go for the free level, which removes you want more. The best thing about apps is they give you the opportunity to talk to your potential future customers without using email. If you've got your app set up right, you're able to do push notifications. You're able to do push notifications to just certain territories. For example, if you were coming to London, you'd be able to, send a message just to the people who use your app in London. So they're very flexible communication tools. And mine brings in all my social media to one place. It also has a menu item that says members log in here, and of course if they're not a member, then it takes them off to the sales page. So they're very, very brilliant promotional tools and communication tools. It sounds like hers isn't going to be very complicated, because the only thing she wants to do on there is have as a product is the breathing technique practice. Now that's very interesting, because you can have a product tab on your app menu that takes people to a page. A lot of times apps are fueled by RSS feeds. So you know how a podcast has an RSS feed from your blog to iTunes, in the same way that my YouTube channel has an RSS feed, and that's what brings my YouTube channel into my app, and my blog does, and Facebook does, and Instagram does. So there's lots of stuff that you can bring into your app fairly easily, so it shouldn't really cost that much money. I think you are looking at a few thousand, but not much. So I'm not going to give out my app developer's name publicly, but I am very happy to share it with people, members of our Own It, the podcast club. Yep. And I'm also very happy to share it with my clients, obviously. Yeah. Because I like the chap who, in fact, he was in my Who or What's Impressed the other week, wasn't he? Because they're doing a beautiful upgrade and a redesign. And they really, but the thing you have to remember is that you're going to be paying an ongoing fee for the maintenance of your app. It's a bitch to get it on iTunes to start with, and Android. And of course, you have to go Android as well, because 50% of the world is. I'm not sure of that statistic, but let's just say 50% of the world's on Android. So you are going to pay a maintenance fee. Now, mine is about $197
a month.
Yeah, $197 a month. So because you've got to keep it updated, and you've got to. But my guy's doing a redesign included in that. So that's cool. I think she should certainly look at it, because a lot of people, loads of people are moving to mobile devices, and that's an iPad as well. So I mean, as a backup plan for 3 to 5 years when nobody's using email, that would be a really good investment, I think. But don't expect to be able to sell bucket loads of it without a massive promotional push. I know the Merrymaker sisters sold lots of their paid app, but they had a massive audience.
But theirs was also effectively a digital recipe book, wasn't it?
Yes, exactly. And they do, and they're very, very good marketers. They do recipes that are exclusive to the app and all that sort of thing. Yeah. They have a huge audience to start with. Yeah. An app is not going to create an audience. It's an add-on for an existing audience. Yeah. Yeah. So
and actually, she's mentioning that. She's saying, make my other packages more inviting by being a value add.
Yeah, I mean, the reason I really went for it was because when I started to use Zen4o as my forum, it's really quite difficult to use on a mobile device because you have to go in on a browser. But having an app means that people can just open the forum in the app, and it's really easy to use. So they don't have to muddle about with different font sizes and making the screen bigger and all that business. So for me, it was a way to make my forum use easier for my customers.
I think there's another angle here as well, actually. If you think, what's the average age of a woman having a baby?
25 to 35?
Yeah, app generation.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, totally. And I honestly do believe that in 3 to 5 years, we'll be hardly using email at all.
And who wouldn't want, I was the first person to tell you that, if you remember, but who wouldn't want Karen, who wouldn't, if they didn't live in Oman or the Middle East, who wouldn't want Karen with them in the delivery room on their iPhone in 2017?
Yeah, it's going to make it easy. And the other thing is, she could create a community of pregnant women around the world.
I think she already has that. I think she already has that. But she's talking about, well, I think the most persuasive, well, you've said everything, actually, Nick, and you've said all the right things here. And knowing Karen, I think she'll probably go for it. Because it's the future, really, is the answer, isn't it?
Yeah, totally. Yes.
It's a future for the way her clients will want to access the breathing exercises. It's a communication tool and a promotion tool, both of which all businesses need to have. There is an ongoing cost, Karen. That's the other thing. Just bear that in mind. But if I were a betting woman, I think she'd go for it.
Yeah, and you know what the other major advantage of it is? That she could be first into the her marketplace with this, and she would get a lot of press. I found it very. I got press for mine just by sending out press releases to all my local newspapers, because an app is news. So if she becomes the first virtual midwife to have an app, then the pregnancy magazines will love that. They will eat it up. Okay,
so Karen, don't miss the opportunity to do proper PR then when you're ready to launch it.
Which is as simple as going to all the online pregnancy magazines, finding out who the features editor is, and writing a press release following the who, why, what, how model, which is, what's it about, who does it benefit, how do we find out more about it, when's it launching, and how do we get it?
Yeah, and so the key point about that is don't bother to do it if you're not going to sell it. It doesn't sell itself. You've got to tell everybody. Yeah.
No, and I really would seriously not make it a paid one, because that's another bit of friction to people downloading it. I would certainly make it a free one so that everyone around the world can get access to your fantastic information. And what it does is it upsells them into your paid programs.
In the future, it might have a paid level.
Totally. You can add a paid level later.
Yeah. Later, Karen, later. Okay.
But if you want, Karen, if you want to talk to my developer before you commit to the other one, I don't know how the price compares, but I can't sing his praises highly enough. And I know you're in our group, so
marvelous.
I'm happy to share.
Marvelous.
Anyone who's listening, if you want to join the Own It group, lots of benefits we talk about every episode, don't we, Judith? And
totally free on Facebook.
Yeah. Totally free on Facebook. Just search Own It and you'll find the page and the group. Like the page, join the group. Cool. That was a good one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
What's your word of the week then?
No, let's start with yours.
You're going to like this. Kotopulo.
Spell?
Koto with a little accent over the O.
Can't do that, sorry.
Poulo.
Kotopulo. I think I've read it somewhere online this week.
I have learned this because this is what I like at the Five Brothers. And when my chicken on the grill was delivered to my table, I just murmured casually, Kotopulo. And he looked quite surprised.
Because
I've been speaking English for the last 25 years. And
you haven't told us what the word means yet.
Chicken.
Ah, right, okay. Chicken in Greek.
Yeah, chicken in Greek. I'm going to come up with a word of the week and I found.
So, did you learn kotopoulou on your first Greek lesson? Are you going to tell us about that in a minute?
It's one of my useful phrases that she.
Yeah. So, did you tell her what would be useful words to know? Well, you're going to tell me later. I won't ask you questions. I'm fascinated, because I love languages, so I'm fascinated to hear about that.
What's your word of the week?
Yeah, my word of the week, in keeping with my book, which I'm going to tell you about in project updates as well, is bonkersness, because I've discovered it's a real word. I thought it was a word that I'd made up, and I found it online, and it says mainly British in usage, which isn't a surprise, I don't think. It's the quality or state of being bonkers, mad or crazy, but actually, I've put here, but in a nice way, and the ability to laugh at oneself.
Yes. Very good.
I'm thinking that might be a good hashtag for my book.
Oh, absolutely. Bonkersness. Yeah, totally. I'm so excited about your book. The only thing that I thought when I went to your page and found the sharing of the front cover, I don't know whether it was just Facebook, but it had trimmed off your rather marvellous strapline at the bottom.
Well, it is just Facebook, yes.
Yeah, okay,
yeah,
cool.
Yeah.
So you need to be aware of that.
It's only a dummy to inspire me.
Yeah, well,
it's not the cover.
Okay, fair enough. Right, project updates then.
Anything to tell us about the podcast?
Well, yes, a couple of things, and I thought we could just very quickly talk about this whole audio revolution, as excited by Gary's article on Medium. We've got a 3-month, 1 month, and 10-day straight line, Judith. On all three.
Is that good or bad? I don't know.
No, it's good. Anything not going down is good.
Okay.
And the other thing is, I'd like to make a quick call for reviews, because apparently Google and iTunes, Apple. And iTunes are about to do a massive review of the podcast charts. So reviews on if you're listening to this and you love us, which obviously you do, then we would love a review. And if you go to onlyatthepodcast.com, there's a little video showing you how to do that. And it's very easy when you follow it.
It's at the bottom of every week's show notes.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, could you go back? 1 month, 3 months, and what was the third one?
And 10 days.
10 days, okay.
Yeah, they're all a straight line. I think the 3 month one is slightly up, so it's all good.
Okay.
But yeah, the other thing was that Gary Vaynerchuk's released an article on Medium saying about audio outstripping video. Nielsen, who are a big data firm, I suppose, they're saying that audio is 1.5 times more consumed last year than video. So everyone thinks that video is the biggie. Apparently not. And he also talked a lot about how Google Home gadgets and Alexa gadgets, Amazon Alexa, is it Amazon Alexa? Yes. Are going to make such a difference because people are they're going to get up in the morning and rather than turning their favourite radio show on because it's full of ads and annoying things like, the weather and traffic reports, they're going to just shout, "Own It, the podcast," into their home gadget. And next thing you know, our podcast will be playing. I find that very exciting.
I sort of do. I'm not happy about those gadgets at all. Did you see the comment I put last night on Facebook about the BBC salaries?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, well, the audio people, the radio people are paid at least as high, if not more so, than the telly people.
Yes, I'm with you on the, I'm feeling uneasy about especially when Margaret's story, where Margaret was talking about something that had happened in her house, and the next thing you know, there is adverts for...
Yeah, they're listening. We are being listened to endlessly anyway.
I know, it's a worry. And I've just finished a novel by a very good writer, the one I told you about, where he was looking up words, where... It was called The Steel Kiss, and the whole premise was that you can override the controls on these smart gadgets and make them do what you want, which that sounds a bit dangerous.
I tell you, I'm in two minds about this because the madness of them being able to monitor 8 billion people is clearly bonkers. So, because, in order to monitor 8 billion people, you need about 1 billion people to do it. But it's clearly a possibility and it clearly happens. And also, I don't have a need for my phone or a home gadget to tell me what to do. Siri, I don't get it.
No, I know, but to be honest,
but I believe it. I believe it in the sense of the Gary V article. I believe it. Yeah, it's a bit like what's the mean average age of somebody having a baby? 25, and she'll want a nap. Yeah, my mum didn't want a nap, did she? Times change. That's the point, isn't it?
Yeah, no. What your mum did, and what I certainly did, was read every blooming pregnancy magazine on the market every single month for 9 months. As long as
I don't think she did. She was a farmer's daughter. She'd seen every single. She was the youngest of 6 children. She'd seen every single animal and her brothers and sisters do it, and she just, she could have squatted behind a hedge, my mother. But, people of your age read every single book, yes, and now people want an app. Yeah.
The chattering classes.
Yeah.
It's not people listening to you. They're not. Someone wasn't listening to Margaret's Alexa gadget and saying, "Oh, Margaret now needs waterproof playing cards." It's artificial intelligence. That's
well, I know, and that's what's worrying, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. We are definitely getting towards the Terminator kind of future.
Yeah, but also I noticed this week, and I made a comment about this, is that on my app where I don't have an ad blocker, I am subject to that sort of advertising. I don't get it on my laptop at all. Hurrah! But I get it on my iPad, and I notice that Amazon is one of my favourite shops, and I notice that Amazon entice me to buy things that I often want. But of late, they started to get it completely wrong and offer me things I don't want, like how high-powered macho torches and things. So AI doesn't work all that well all of the time.
No, it doesn't. And I'm still being shown pictures of white Birkenstocks when I actually finally bought some, and I bought them online.
Well, funnily enough, that's what Yvonne used to say to us in the Money Gym days. After I bought it, can't you stop marketing it to me? And the answer in those days was no, but with Infusionsoft, of course, you can.
Yeah. So what happened with me was I ended up buying them from Office because they were delivered quicker than Amazon would. And so they ought to then, obviously Amazon's still advertising to me on every single website I go to, but somehow that they ought to know that I bought it from Office. I suppose that'll involve...
Well, it's all a bit ad hoc, this paranoia that we've got that everybody knows what we're thinking.
Yeah, they don't. Okay, but it's good for us. So, just round that up again with another call for reviews. If you're a recent listener and you haven't reviewed on iTunes yet, please, we would love you to do that. That'd be awesome.
Could I just update you on my book project
Oh,
thing.
please.
Well, because of the 2 days being an accountant this week, I had expected by now, what's the date today, the 20th, to have finished my Scrivener training, but I'm only 89% of the way through it. And annoyingly, in that last 11%, one of the videos is half an hour long, and I think I can swerve that, because what it is a real-time demonstration of how long it takes to upload your book to one of the platforms, and I don't think I need to know that now. So I think I was going to try and finish it by today, but I fell in love with a fiction book and was trying to finish it instead. It was more gripping to finish that than finish the Scrivener training. But here's the point I wanted to make today, and there's an urgency now for me to write this book, and it's a scarce thought on my part, okay? And I'm going to confess to that, and I would write this thought off on the basis that it's scarce, which is other people are starting to say the same things as I intend to say in my book, i.e., it's about kindness, not about macho, the harder I work. I mean, I see this, maybe it's because I'm aware of it and thinking it myself, but I see people sharing the same message on the Facebook now, and it makes me think, I'm going to crack on with this, otherwise, I'll miss the boat.
Yeah, absolutely. And it might be your reticulated actor.
Well, it is. It definitely is. And it's a terribly scarce thought. And it just means that other people are ahead of the curve as well. It's not necessarily a bad thing. But I think, oh, shit, I better write that book first. Otherwise, somebody else will.
Yeah, because it is unique. I've read a lot of business books and I haven't read anything like this. So, yeah. But, it's not going to take you long anyway. You said it will. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to focus on it in August. I've got ready to write during August, brackets, quotes off.
What was that?
I'm going to have August in quotes off when I'm writing my book. That's not off, is it?
Not really. It's doing something completely different. And that's the thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, good stuff. Okay, so who or what's impressed then?
Well, at the moment, this is the section that I struggle with most weeks in the podcast. I have come up with two. One of them's a bit tragic, but impressive. Nicola Bird's cupcakes.
Oh, weren't they fantastic?
Yeah, Nicola Bird, who we interviewed in our summit last year, and people will know, yesterday iced a gazillion cupcakes for school.
70 cupcakes.
But they were all beautiful, like flowers, weren't they?
Honestly, I could not believe they were cakes. They were so...
Well, I was scraping the bottom of the barrel a bit with that one. But then the other thing that's impressed me this week, of course, and we could debate this for hours, mostly because I've not watched this programme since 1965, but Doctor Who is a woman.
Yes.
That's exciting.
I've never watched Doctor Who.
Have you not?
No, I don't like it.
Oh. Well, my only memory, as I told the client this week, of Doctor Who is that in 1965, when it was first invented, you weren't even before you were one then, but we used to run around the school. We used to run around the school playground with our arms extended and a finger pointing out, pretending to be a Dalek, going, "We will exterminate you! We will exterminate you!" And that's the only thing I know about Doctor Who.
Even as a small child, I never found the Daleks convincing.
They're a bit cardboardy, that's why, weren't they?
And the special effects were absolutely pants.
Well, to be fair, though, Nicola, in the intervening 5 decades,
no,
the world has embraced Doctor Who and does love Doctor Who, and everyone's very upset that the Doctor is going to be a woman. 50% of the world.
I always found it
very
creepy that he kidnapped young females. And
somebody did make that point. Yeah, somebody made that point this very week.
And along with the shite special effects compared with Star Trek, I'm afraid...
Yeah, but the point is, I don't think they can be shite now. That's the point, because 5 decades of tech have come along. And you and I are not in a position to judge because we don't watch it.
I have watched it on a few infrequent occasions when I was forced to watch it by the children, and I never found the special effects particularly gripping even then. So I think my prejudice was formed at a very young age.
Yeah, you see, that could be quite a good thing for me. I don't even like special effects. But anyway, let's move swiftly along to who or what's impressed you, because you're going to tell me about your Greek lessons.
I am. I suddenly had the urge. I don't know what it was, what tipped me over to... Oh, I know what it was. I tried to order a takeaway pizza, and I did succeed, and it did find me eventually, but it was made more difficult. It was made more difficult by the fact I didn't speak any Greek at all. And the lady taking the thing spoke good enough English, bless her, Rena. But I suddenly thought, this is ridiculous. I'm just going to ring up. And the other thing is, I'm not very good at picking up the phone. As you know, I've got a phone phobia. But anyway, I picked up the phone, and obviously Marina spoke perfect English. So she said, oh, what about tomorrow? And I thought, oh, blimey, it's a bit sooner than I thought. I was going to
Oh, sorry about English. I thought the pizza. Sorry, got confused there. What about tomorrow for a pizza? No, I want it today.
That came within 20 minutes. That was very efficient.
Can I just say about the pizza, by the way, back to the summit again. Do you remember Kayla and somebody and somebody?
Michael and Kayla?
Yeah, told us in Bali they were trying to order a pizza, and exactly the same issues as you. No address and no lingo.
Luckily, Stupa is so tiny, everybody knows all the roads. And so I said, you go up from the bakery and you take the second left and it goes down. She go, oh, yes. And there's a little bridge. I said, well, if you hit the bridge, you've gone too far. I said, so get them to stop before the bridge. There's a big guard dog on the right-hand side. He'll be barking at you. And I'll come down to the end of the road to pick my pizza up. Anyway, so this whole experience made me think this is totally ridiculous. I need to learn some basic Greek. So I picked up the phone and Marina spoke brilliant English and she said, how about tomorrow? And I thought, oh, God, I thought it was going to be next week or something. But anyway, so I went for it. And I had a very, very enjoyable hour. She is a really good teacher. I told her I was very visual.
1-to-1?
Yes, 1-to-1, yeah. And you could do either half an hour or an hour. And I thought, no, total immersion. Let's go for it, an hour a week for a little while. And because I told her I was visual, she said it would be good for me to learn the Greek alphabet and how to write Greek and read Greek as well as listen to it. Because if I was an audio learner, she said you can just learn it phonetically, but because you're visual, you need to see the words as well. And it's true, it does help me a lot. So we had a really fun time doing the numbers and doing the letters. And did you know that there are 5 letter E's in Greek? Just to make things really
well,
cool.
I do know that it's a language I would never try and learn because it is quite strange, isn't it?
Well, I went in thinking this is going to be really difficult, but I came out. This is how good a teacher she was. I came out thinking I can do this.
Oh, good.
Yeah, and we did colours. She had coloured pens and everything. And then there's so she's leading me through it. So I've got some homework, but I found an app online, which is Greek Pod 101, which is 3. I went onto YouTube, just typed, Greek lessons. And there's some 3-minute lessons there. And it comes with an app called Greek Pod 101. So I can actually practice while I'm lying on a sunbed.
Marvellous.
Because, when your Duolingo app you told us about it, they don't do Greek.
No, they do it on your laptop, but not on your iPad.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I want something I can listen to while I'm out and about. So,
mind you, keep an eye on Duolingo because I bet they've brought it in by now.
Yeah, probably.
That was last summer. By the way, for the last 20 minutes to 30 minutes, every time you speak, we can hear a rattlesnake in the background.
It's a cicada.
Oh no! Well, the point is, it's only when you speak. You'll hear it when you listen to the recording.
Yeah, it's cicadas.
No, it's not. No, it's not. It's not a thing. It's a noise.
Oh.
Because I'd be able to hear the cicada when you are quiet, because you're not switching yourself off when I'm talking. It's when you speak. You'll hear it when you listen to the recording. Don't worry.
Okay. All right. How odd.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think that's us done now, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Marvellous. Yeah. Well, it's a good one this week, wasn't it? Excellent. I hope everyone else enjoyed it, and don't forget to give us a review.
Okay. See you next week.
See you soon. Bye.
Bye.
You've been listening to Nicola Cairncross and Judith Morgan. The podcast is called Own It, Your Business and Your Life. Do come and visit us at ownitthepodcast.com. We'd love to hear your feedback. You can find out more about Judith and visit her on her website at judithmorgan.com, and you can find Nicola at nicolacairncross.com.